What's up, guys? Neo here, and welcome back to Behind the Scenes. Now, yeah, I was a filler this week. I was a filler, okay? Before everyone starts going at me like, you know the parts where I actually didn't. I actually got, if you guys are familiar with it now, MC Tests and his crew people, I asked him to pick out spots for me to put these parts in. So I had the coordinates to them, yes, but I don't know where they were. And I deliberately didn't go and find them all because I thought that'd be unfair as well. So I had no idea where these parts were, okay? So as you can tell, I was running around the one side of the map, the one round we were looking for parts, like I couldn't find any. So I had a guess at where they were, but I couldn't find any. So today I'm gonna go over 3 of the traps. I'm not gonna talk about drone because I did it over the course of several days, and it's so massive and annoying to me that it's so poorly laid out and confusing that I feel like I'd just make a mess of. Wow, Kian, I see what you're doing there. I feel like if I try to explain it, I'd confuse myself and you guys at the same time because it's just such a complicated nonsense trap. So I'm gonna skip that. If you want me to go over that in the future, maybe I will. Maybe I'll make a little video, put on Twitter or something. I don't know, but it's not really my proudest trap, you know. So I mean, it's cool, but like it's not my proudest work. So we also had, of course, the blast off trap. I'll see you, Kian. We have the blast off trap, which actually came from a comment. I'll put all these comments up on the screen as I'm talking about them. To those of you guys who helped me give me these comments, thank you, by the way, like a ton. And of course, let me know your comments down below as well for future traps as well. We also had the health reduce, or health cut, I think I called it, and the smog trap, which was completely useless, but it's okay. I tried, okay? I tried to do something different. Truck wasn't really a thing this game, so the smog had no use. I designed the smog to be thrown on the truck and, like, you know, but didn't really happen. So, all right, Kian, you ready to go to my redstone? You ready? You ready to go to the redstone? Yay, redstone! Before I start, you guys are gonna notice it's cleaner. I did some generic organization changes. I left the traps where they were, but what I did was I labeled them all in case, by any means, I ever could not do something some week and I need someone else to, like, come do redstone for me. Stay away from my murder run, people of other redstone peoples. Stay away. And then, of course, I tried to organize things. I took out a lot of the stuff in this area that had zero, like, point to being here. Like, there's a couple, like, reminiscent things that could have been removed a while ago that I never took out that had nothing to do with the game anymore. So, took them out, cleaned it up, and I added a few new systems to the truck, and yeah. So, the optimization is really just, I took most of the really intensive stuff that was running at 20 ticks per second, and I took it down to 5 ticks per second by this clock here. If you guys are familiar with clocks, then you'll know this is like one of the first redstone clocks that was really played with, you know? This runs 5 times per second. So this is a 5-cycle clock, or whatever you want to call it, if you're a computer nerdy dirty, whatever. So what I did was, these logs, everywhere you see a log, it is basically doing what a repeating command block would do. It's putting a log here, and then putting a redstone block there, and then a log there 5 times per second, which will then become a 5-cycle clock, or whatever you want to call it, 5 ticks per second. And this is just because, as you'll see, some of the traps that I've been making now recently are huge and have a lot of logic to them. And if I ran them all at max speeds, I would kill everything, including the server. Which, actually, I'm going to say this too, the way I had things laid out, we were starting to get to the point where the 20 tick speed per second global worlds thing was, we were approaching the threshold where we would start dropping the global tick speed. I halved it. With this update, I halved the processing power that everything in my redstone uses. So, sweet. Now, what I'm going to talk about is the concept of truck, which I introduced this week. A little unsuccessfully, but that's okay. We're going to do some refining next week. Let me know what kind of rework ideas you have for the truck. Maybe there's another idea you guys have for the truck that could work out better than what we are going to do. So, yeah, if you guys remember, the way this worked was, I think it was, I'll check, Kian, Mario made this, right? Marja, right? He made a truck, yeah. He built this truck using a chisel, the chisel stuff. I don't know anything about how that works, but what I did was, he built a truck, and I put a armor stand in the back of the truck, and the armor stand is basically looking for you collecting parts, and the parts are scattered around the map, as you guys saw. You pick them up and throw them in the truck. Once you get all 3, you can escape, and you call the cops, or whatever. You get to a police station, the cops come, and the game ends instantly. Never happened, but what we were going to do is, if the killer couldn't kill everybody, and someone got away like this, their time is set to 999. And then, of course, by that logic, disqualified and they lose. So, the truck basically is there to add a new element. It's supposed to add the urgency that the killer can't just toy with them all day. They have to be careful. They have to realize that there is now an objective that the survivors can do. The survivors now have a way to win the game, which adds a new element, of course, and of course more room for new traps, which of course, now that there's a parts involved, people have to look for parts. You know, there could be traps you guys have in mind, or things that you could do as a survivor to, you know, or the things the killer could do to mess with the people's traps, or, you know. So, especially now in that terms, let me know, guys, what kind of things you want to see me mess with these parts now. But the truck is there to add a new element to the game, where now the survivors can win. It's not just hide and seek. The survivors can also, they can either hide like I did, like a coward most of the time, hiding in the bathroom, or you can kind of run around and try to find the parts and try to win the game versus stalling and trying to make the person lose. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, or if you have any ideas to rework the truck a little bit, make it a little more reasonable and doable, let me know. Again, guys, I said I don't want to mess with the drone trap much. This entire monstrosity here, this is the drone trap, and it is the drone power, and it's just so... It's cool, but it's like, it was a pain in the butt to make. I made it over the course of several days too, because I had to pause because I had a roadblock I came to with it. But the idea came from a comment that got me thinking. And then I turned on SpongeBob, and an episode by the name of Whirly Brains was playing. I'll show a picture of it, because this episode, the base premise is SpongeBob and Patrick are shown a TV ad for a product called a Whirly Brain. And the Whirly Brain, what you do is you attach it to your brain, and then you fly your brain, which, by the way, your eye sockets are connected to your brain in a creepy way. You fly your brain up around the sky, like as a helicopter or whatever, like a drone, and your eyes are up on a brain, flying on a drone up in the sky. And the episode was really just about, some old man took their brain drones and was putting them in barrels, and then nobody in the town could see. And Sandy's like, what the heck? But yeah, no, again, Whirly Brain, I think it was from season 10, but that's where the idea of using the drone to see where people are. But it was also based on that comment. That got me thinking, and then the episode came on and got the idea together. So, and really, this is very useful for finding parts and knowing what the killer is. The person who uses it can say where the killer is to everyone else, or they could say where the parts are. Or they could just go find a part with the drone, and then go to the part once they find it. So, this is one I think they're going to use in the future once the drone, like, once the parts are refined a little more. SpongeBob, man, freaking, what is wrong with you guys? You don't just make an episode where you tear open people's, like, brain caps, attach drones to their brains, and fly them through the air like helicopters. Like, that's just messed up. What the heck, SpongeBob? What the heck? You guys are... I don't know, if I ever have kids, I don't know if I want to let them watch stuff like that. Like, they're gonna be like, Daddy, why does that guy have a brain attached to a drone? I'll be like, burn the TV. I'm gonna start with the health reduction, which is a very simple concept, which was also commented to me. It was commented in the context of lightning, but lightning won't go through buildings, so couldn't do it that way, and lightning hurts you, so kind of unfair. So the base idea is, once this is used, you gotta be careful. If you got a heart, you gotta be very careful. You can't, don't take fall damage, don't jump off stuff, be careful. And also, the killer now can one-shot anybody. It overrides powers such as the shield, the damage pendant, having armor, with something like that. It overrides all of that, which is why it's decently priced. In itself, it doesn't do anything for finding the survivors, which is why it's priced a little cheaper than what you would assume it would be. It's more of a helping power versus, more like making everyone paranoid. So, as always, this is a deploy power, which means you don't have to track it on the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the tag health reduced to this when it's on the ground, or when it's in the air, when it exists. Speckled melon is glistering melon, or whatever it's called. It's called speckled melon in the data values. Couldn't explain why. So I need to keep a counter on how long this goes on for. So once this item's in the air, it sets the score of the global entity store to the scores of health reduced to 1. I like to use simple, similar tags and scores. Now, the next command, which this is why it works, we're going to start incrementing a counter on health reduce. What it's going to do is, once the value is at least 1, it'll start adding to it. And now we have a timer. And really, that's the majority of this. That's almost everything. Mine is we got to actually, we need to actually give them the heart reduction. So the first thing is I need to know, are they wearing boots? Do I need to give them back armor once this is done? So what I'm gonna do is at 2 the second ticket exists, what I'm going to do is all players who have test 3 boots on their feet, add the tag health armor to them. And now I know that they had armor. So then, of course, now we're going to clear off their feet. Same thing at the same time. We're going to clear their feet off. And then we're going to give them these boots. They're identical to the current boots you have. But there's an attribute modifier on them. And what this does is it sets your generic max health to 2, quote unquote, which is a heart. If you guys aren't familiar, Minecraft goes by half heart intervals. So -18 would be 1 heart left or 2 health left. Half heart seemed like too unfair, you know, so I put it to 1 heart. So this is the actual trick. You're wearing boots, and the boots cut your health. And that's really about everything. So you keep these, you could take them off, but like, shush. There's no cursive binding yet, so I can't force it onto them, you know? Unless I keep putting it on their body, but that'd be a mess. So that is the actual command. And now pretty much what we're going to do is wait till time runs out. Once time runs out, we're just going to, at 150, which is exactly 30 seconds, we're going to take off their cursed evil boots, and then we're going to put, if they had boots in the first place, so relative the 150 tick, you know, we're ending things here, relative to the people who have health armor, which was of course meant you had boots before, we're going to give you back your boots. You're going to get them back here. And then, for the most part, we're just kind of cleaning up and doing a final thing. This is actually, again, I'm like, wait, I should probably tell everybody that I reduced their health. I mean, if you haven't noticed it in your inventory by now, I should probably title. So, as an afterthought, here's the title. So we got an actual, again, second tick execution, title times, and then title, a dummy text, and there's no text in the title. And then, subtitle, survivor health has been reduced for 30 seconds. Again, says it to everybody. Sorry, no. It says to Jason something different. It says survivor health reduced 30 seconds. And then for the players, it says survivor health reduced for 30. Why did I even separate these into 2 commands? Like, what was I thinking? That doesn't even, why? Why did I, oh, okay, sorry. And then health reduced 30 seconds. Wait, are there 2 of the same command here? Well, that's redundant. Literally redundant. Okay. Now, the only downside to the way the system works is when I chop away those hearts, it puts it to 1 heart. When I give you back your 10 hearts, your health is still stuck at 1 heart. So unfortunately, I have to give you your hearts back. If you had taken damage, that's a downer, right? But I can't store how much damage you've taken. Minecraft doesn't really, there is sort of a way to track that, but it doesn't really, like, it's really difficult to pair it with like an effect to restore the command. Like if I store that you had 2 hearts left, I can't really pair that with an instant health because instant health doesn't go down that low. So simplest solution, just heal him back to full health. So I just give him a regeneration boost, puts him back to full health. In case it didn't work, I also have another one over here that does the same thing with instant health. Together it makes you back to full health, whatever. I don't know which one actually does the thing, but they both work, so woo. Of course, the item should only exist for, you know, 1 tick of execution, so it starts everything. So then I'm going to kill the item, the health reduced item that toggled it. Then we're going to set, if the score is 150, we're going to set the score back to 0 on the global entity on the timer. And then last but not least, at the last second of execution, we need to remove the tag health armor. And this is the end of the system. That is how you make it remember and forget. The poison smog was a decent idea, but it just, right now, it doesn't, people are moving around too much now. It's not really, like, useful anymore. Or it would have been useful if it was left at places, like, you know, sneaky places, but since there's duration to it, it doesn't really have a lot of use. So I don't know how long it's going to stay in the game. It might be removed next week. I'll have to double check that. But for now, the way it works is, as always, add attack poison to a slime ball in midair. Nice and simple. And of course, I'm not going to instantly make it toggle where you use it. I want it to hit the ground first and then spread out. So, of course, we're going to use our trick with on ground, colon 1b. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the tag ground poison to the poison, which is a slime ball we just threw, once it hits the ground. And now we're going to do everything we need to do here. Relative to ground poison, we're going to tell everybody, or actually, we're going to tell Jason, sorry, we're going to tell Jason that he deployed a smog. Because I don't really think that's the reason I should tell the killer, the survivors, because they're not even, like, affected by it at the moment in time. So we have a times here, we have our title times, yada yada, you know. Actually, why did I do title first there? I'm a funny guy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna give him the text poison smog deployed once Jason throws it down. Pretty straightforward title commands. And then we're gonna put an armor stand where that entity was and call it poison smog. And this is where we're going to do the sorcery of poisoning people. And now, of course, for the item has exceeded its use, time to kill it. That sounds messed up. So now, okay, sorry, I don't know why I did that. I love my organization style where I have like, I'm like, oh, I want to make the particle effect before I make all the actual like mechanics to it. So this is just a really complicated, it's not really a complicated particle effect, but this is just a particle effect that spreads out green particles around the entity. Not really easy to explain. It's just kind of, it's the particle effect command. This is the actual command that does the poison. So the way this works is we're going to offset this. So if you guys look at this like a square, if you look at this like a square, hold on, I can make this a square. Here's a square. Right in the center is where the armor stand is. If I offset it by 5 and 5, let's say this is a +5, or no, let's go by the axes. So this will be +5, +5. Now the dimension commands, here, let me scroll over to them. DX, DY, and DZ work as they sound. DX, now that, so I've gone 5 and 5, so then DX will be -10, and then DZ will be -10 as well. So now we've gone from here to here. We've covered this whole region now. And then, of course, y = 3, let's raise it 3 blocks in the air. This creates a square region directly centered around the entity. And that is how I made it a square instead of like a radius thing, because I don't want the bubble to reach up into the ceiling if you threw it on a building. I didn't want it to like suck into the building, you know? This is how I create basically a rectangle for execution versus a circle, which is, again, the dimension commands are a little annoying and confusing, so I recommend using tutorials for those. Don't take my word for what I'm doing now, because I'm not good at this. And of course, the smog will vanish after 20 seconds, so add age objective and kill it when it gets to 20 seconds. And that is it. The last thing, which is, this is kind of like my low-key favorite this week, because again, also came from a comment, just like the poison one did. Or no, actually the poison one was my idea. That was mine. I did something right. The blast off one is actually based on a comment someone gave me, followed by another comment that someone gave my Discord, which then I refined. So thank you again to the person who commented this. I'll put the picture on the screen. So the way this works is, it's like an actual trap. Believe it or not, I'm still making actual traps where you throw on the ground and you gotta send it to the killer. Of course, everyone used Portal to make it happen, but still, it's good stuff. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna make them ride a firework up into the clouds, and it'll explode and they fall down to their, no death because they're the killer. They don't die. The only downside to this is they do see people who are all over the map outside, which is why you don't want to hide outside, you know? You don't want to just go outside and hide on a tree. It's not smart. So what we're going to do is, as we have done every time so far, this is actually a modded item called a props. It's called a toy rocket. It's from Nodecraft. If you go, it's props:props, and then damage value is 633. That's how you get this item. So once it's detected, we're going to have the tag rocket to it. And now, here goes pretty much all the system. So the rocket has to have an age. The item you threw on the ground needs an age so that it can, be armed and deployed in time. Due to the fact that I really don't see why the arming time should be 2 seconds, I put it down to 1, and I might go back and put the arming time down for all traps to 1 second, but right now they're all 2 besides this one, which is 1. So I'm going to give the item ID of 41 for one reason, so that the portal trap works on it, which I did fix the issues of portal trap last week with Pokeball. I took care of that, don't worry about it. So, of course, this is the arming time concept here, and once it's been armed, we're going to add the tag blast off, ironically like the title of the name, to Jason if he's in the 3 blocks. And then, from there, really, we're also going to have the tag blast off rocket. I can't remember, I have to double check the exact reasoning why I have 2 tags. I think it was to stop the first one from, oh, okay, yeah, sorry. So the way it works is, the idea is the one tag is there to spawn the rocket, and the other tag is there to track. So the blast off rocket spawns the rocket. Blast off is the person who needs to go on the rocket. And I also have a parameter check system, which I'll show you guys a little later, which stops it from spawning another rocket where the first one ends, which happened in testing, and I ended up like 500 blocks of the air, and it was pretty funny. So relative to a rocket, which is actually given the tag Team Rocket, I'll show you guys that command in a second. We're going, if there's a rocket in the air, then they shouldn't have the tag blast off rocket. If there is a rocket, we shouldn't be re-executing this again. That's the logic there. That's the perimeter check for the most part. And this is, oh, okay, sorry. One more is the firework command. Of course, the item now that there's a person as a tag blast off, we gotta kill the rocket item on the ground so it doesn't just keep looping. And that is the majority of the logic here. The last part of it is we gotta spawn the rocket so that flies into the sky. So there's the command. It's a little bit of a mess. It has a tag Team Rocket on it because Team Rocket's blasting off again. And of course, here's what I said. Only if the player has a tag blast off rocket will it spawn the blast off rocket and make him ride it. That's the logic there. I'll skip these. It's again title times, yada yada. I always use titles now because they like that. And now, if you had the tag blast off rocket, this is a time where you don't need it anymore. So I will remove the tag blast off rocket from you. Your value is set to 0 initially, and then your value is set up to 1 if there's a rocket in the world. So if there's a rocket that's in existence, your score will be 1. If there isn't, your score will be 0. This is how I detect has the rocket exploded. So this is how this works out here. The rocket has exploded, so we need to remove the tag blast off from the person, which is why this is like that. And then, of course, we got to reset the score of fireworking if the value is 0. I don't see why this is even a command that needs to be here, but I put it there, so there must be some reason. I don't remember right now. And last but not least, relative to the firework rocket, we're going to do a teleport command here. Nice and simple. Teleport the Jason player with them. And, well, what if someone is mind controlling Jason? Well, they got to go to. They gotta go into space just like him. So if you're mind controlling the player who's killing everybody and they get rocketed, you do too. That's about it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and it was kind of fun playing it. I mean, it's crappy that I died so quickly in the one round, but I thought I played decently. I don't know. What do you guys think? I did my best. I did what I could. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Hit that like button down below if you want to see more, and subscribe for more videos as always, and let me know what kind of other content you guys want me to make. I'm trying to come up with like a little bit of like a series routine besides Trollville, besides this behind the scenes and some AFK videos. I want to do some more stuff that's like kind of, you know, here and there on my channel. So if you got video ideas, let me know. Comment them down below as well, along with traps, which I will be checking this video for next week's traps as well. Thank you guys for watching. Stay awesome. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.